Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of Research Week 2025. So I think today promises one of our most exciting events of the week. No denigration to the other events that we have going on this week. So just a couple of housekeeping tips before we start. Just a note to the speakers first, I suppose. Just for everything today is being videoed and photographed. If you want to be excluded from any of that, please notify one of the people, one of the organisers in lovely pink t-shirts, and we'll facilitate that for you. The speakers, when you're up here, if you can just be sure to stand in front of the microphone here, just so everyone in the room can hear you, and particularly so that it's picked up by the video then as well. And can I just ask all attendees to put your phones on airplane mode or on silent mode, just to give the speakers a full reign. So I'll pass over straight away to Andrea.
Thank you, Richard. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see so many familiar faces in the room, so thank you for taking the time to be here this morning. It's my absolute pleasure to get the opportunity to welcome the amazing students that have been part of the Student Sustainability Challenge. But before I do so, just a little bit of background on where this initiative came from and why it's so important to us at the University of Limerick. So my name is Andrea Deverell. I think Richard introduced me, but just in case. And I am director of a relatively new centre at the University of Limerick called the Centre for Sustainable Futures and Innovation. It's a big title for a small centre, but effectively our remit is to encourage our university and the broader region to really focus on sustainability in very practical ways. So one of our key initiatives is this Student Sustainability Challenge. It's not the first year that it's run, and you're going to hear from wonderful Rebecca about her experiences with the past Student Sustainability Challenge. But there are a couple of really fundamental thoughts that underline the Student Sustainability Challenge. One is to really attempt to encourage students and faculties to work across disciplines. Many of the really complex challenges we face in the world require interdisciplinarity, they require even multidisciplinarity. So the ability for us to break down boundaries and silos and really truly collaborate to solve some of the really complex challenges that we face. And so let's call this Principle 1. Principle 1 of the Student Sustainability Challenge is to break down gaps between disciplines and to encourage students to truly collaborate. The second principle is that of purpose. And I know from my days as a student, and I'm still technically a student, having something that gives us a purpose is so fundamentally important when we're a student. So it's not just about learning conceptually and theoretically what kind of the principles of our academic fields, but it's also about having a sense of purpose and being able to apply that knowledge in a way that makes a change. And I know all of our students, having engaged with them over the last couple of weeks, I know that their work was driven by a really strong sense of purpose, a sense of wanting to achieve something and have an impact in the world. So let's call that Principle 2, a sense of purpose for our students. And I think probably the last underlying principle was really, I suppose, and it's built into the interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity, but we really wanted to open the programme up to all our 4 faculties. So we wanted to see representation from all 4 faculties. And we wanted to see students. I think it's kind of a kickback to the Industrial Revolution. We batch students, so we have first-year students and second-year students, and then we have doctoral students. So the attempt really was, could we break down those silos even a little bit further and have second-year students work alongside PhD students, work alongside master's students. So those were the kind of principles that we sat down with when we were designing the programme, and I'm so very happy to say that we had representation from all 4 faculties. We had students working across years, we had students working across disciplines, and all of the projects carried a very strong sense of purpose. So without greater ado, it's my honour to get the proceedings rolling. I know we're pretty tight on time, so I'm going to start by introducing you to Rebecca, and I'm going to try to pronounce your name now. Say it for me again. Tumebaze, who's from Uganda. And Rebecca had an amazing project that actually won 2 years ago, won the Student Sustainability Challenge. So we've asked Rebecca, instead of listening to me, because I'm just one of the organisers, we wanted her to share her journey and her experiences with the Student Sustainability Challenge from 2 years ago as a way of kind of bringing us into the mindset for what we're going to see in terms of our students and our student projects. So Rebecca. Also, I'm going to let Rebecca introduce herself, but I do believe there's a doctor that goes in front of her name at this point, so congratulations, Rebecca.
Thank you, Andrea. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, good morning. 2 years ago, I stood here to present my own sustainability project, and that day my project emerged the winner. My friends and I often joked during that time because the project trended all over campus and even in the media beyond UL, and my friends often said, this is your 15 minutes of fame, make use of it. But those 15 minutes of fame are just about up, because today we'll have a brand new UL Sustainability Challenge winner 2025. Let's give a round of applause to the teams and individuals that have taken time to submit projects and implement wonderful projects for this Sustainability Challenge, everyone. I want to thank the teams for pouring their creativity and effort into the different projects they have been working on. In 2023, my own project centered on knowledge sharing and evaluation and co-development of sustainable agriculture practices in Uganda. And during project implementation, I worked with within a rich ecosystem of stakeholders involved in production of highland green banana, a staple food in Uganda, which is locally known as matoke. And I facilitated collaborative workshops thanks to the fund from the Sustainability Challenge. I held workshops with diverse stakeholders who included smallholder farmers, commercial agricultural enterprises, local leaders and scientists, and together we mapped the production process of matoke from initial planting stage to the moment the matoke was getting into the market. And within this framework, we identified various activities involved and the corresponding practices. We then embarked on a collaborative evaluation of these practices through the lens of sustainability. For each practice, we engaged in a vital conversation addressing 3 fundamental questions. Was a practice socially acceptable within the context of the community we were working with? Was it economically viable for those involved? And was it environmentally non-degrading for the precious ecosystem around us? This open dialogue allowed us to examine both the wealth of indigenous knowledge held by the community, especially the smallholder farmers, and the conventional knowledge. And we discovered the intersections where these 2 knowledge systems converged and how they complement one another. And this supported the uptake of sustainable practices because people were now able to understand the underlying rationale and wisdom behind every practice. This kind of inclusive conversation is what we need when we are dealing with sustainability, because everyone has a role to play. Having these kinds of conversations in a rural community in Uganda and in the middle of a garden empowered the very ecosystem of stakeholders that are involved in the production of matoke. And for me, the lesson was that the sustainability conversation cannot remain confined in conference halls and in boardrooms. We must hold conversations on sustainability everywhere, even in the communities, in our homes, with our circle of friends, in the pub, and everywhere we get an opportunity. But even more importantly, we must each examine our own relationship with sustainability and critically assess our current contributions in realizing the Sustainable Development Goals. We are all sustainability stewards in every aspect of our lives. From the seemingly small choices we make, like what product we choose when we are in the grocery store, to the big decisions like which research lines we choose to pursue, we must be deliberate to make choices and decisions that support the sustainability agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to share a few examples of global realities so that we can each reflect on the often unseen roles we have played in enabling an unsustainable world. The first example I'll give is from Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast, some of us call it Côte d'Ivoire, is the global leading producer of cocoa, and they supply over 2 million tons of cocoa annually. It is that cocoa that is then processed into a delicacy I love, chocolate. Now, to sustain this supply and meet our demand for chocolate, Ivory Coast has lost over 90% of its dense forests in the last 50 years alone. Now, because farmers are making room to clearing land for cocoa plantations. In fact, between 2001 to 2021 alone, Ivory Coast lost over 2.5 million hectares of tree cover. So as we enjoyed our Valentine's Day chocolate in February, the Sustainable Development Goals concerning life on land, climate action, and responsible production took a silent step backwards. I can imagine many of you wondering, what can we as individuals do about that? Fortunately, there are many initiatives that are gaining momentum that we can support. The EU deforestation regulation is now being enforced, and traceability regulations are being pushed forward. We can therefore consciously choose only chocolate products that can be traced back to non-deforested land when we go to the store. We as consumers have the power to support responsible suppliers as well as exert pressure on those whose practices contribute to this kind of deforestation. Another example I want to give is from East Africa, a region I proudly call home. East Africa is the leading producer of some of the coffee that graces our tables every morning. Shockingly, the overall prevalence of child labor on coffee farms in East Africa ranges from 48% to 51% among boys and 42% among girls. As we enjoy our daily cup of coffee, it is highly probable that children thousands of miles away are missing out on their childhood and on an education because they are working tirelessly to ensure our steady supply. In the seemingly simple act of enjoying my coffee this morning, I could have unconsciously contributed to the sad reality that SDGs related to education, equality, no poverty, and sustainable communities have been undermined. Just as we can demand traceability with our chocolate, let us commit to purchasing only coffee that comes with assurances of ethical and child labor-free sourcing. My final example relates to us all. Globally, we discard over $1 trillion worth of food annually as food waste. This is amidst the stark reality that over 700 million people worldwide live in poverty. This waste also contributes approximately 10% to global greenhouse gas emissions. Let's each reflect on our own contribution to this unacceptable level of food waste amidst the hunger of millions of people. These are only a few examples of how our seemingly small inattentions contribute to unsustainability. And we see the problems of unsustainability as they continue to escalate. We all feel the rising temperatures, the extreme weather events, and the rising sea levels. We see the decline in plant and animal species. We see the unsustainable exploitation of natural resources like water and forests. We see the air, water, and plastic pollution that pose significant health and environmental consequences for us all. We must all be deliberate about what we can do to counter these trends. My central message to you all today is that it is a shared duty of every single one of us. You and I have a vital role to play, from the smallest everyday choices to the most significant decisions we make every day. We must be keen to support sustainability efforts. Achieving a sustainable world is like constructing a grand building where each of us must diligently play our part in laying a few bricks every day. Today we celebrate our winning sustainability teams because of the significant bricks they are laying through their innovative projects. My question to everyone here as I conclude: what bricks have you laid towards the grand building of a sustainable world today? I thank you.
I'm not sure I can follow up. It's going to take me a couple of minutes even to absorb the wonderful words of Rebecca. And for me, the kind of words that stuck most with me are, we must all be deliberate. Because we hear these words over and over again, and I don't think they really reach the places they need to reach. We must all be deliberate. So maybe we hold that with us for the next 45 minutes or so. Just to give you a sense, today is about celebration, and it is about celebration of our students. So just to give you a sense of what to expect over the next couple of minutes, we have 5 student projects, and I'm going to invite each of the 5 teams to come up. They're going to get, I believe, 3 minutes to introduce themselves. Eliza and her team have worked to make little short videos of each of the projects, just to bring each project to life. So we're going to watch the 3-minute video, and then each of the teams will have a moment just to close with some reflections. And we're going to go through that transition 5 times so that you get to meet each of the student teams. There will be winners picked today, but I really want to play down the notion of winners because honestly, all 5 projects have the potential to have really strong impact. May I use Rebecca's words of deliberate impact in the world? And so we're here to celebrate all of these teams. But there will be a winner picked, and I know that's always a little bit of fun as well. And I think Rebecca's going to help me with that towards the end. So without further ado, I would like to ask our first student to come up and share his journey and his project, and that is James Organ. James, the floor is all yours. If you'd like to introduce yourself, and I'm going to try and keep the 3 minutes because I will be killed by my colleagues if I don't.
Right. Let me share. Yeah. So my name is James Organ. As you see, that was gone. I'm a PE and geography student. I suppose I'm trained to be a PE and geography teacher. And for my project, I made a documentary on the wildlife of UL. I suppose. Big thing for me, I love wildlife, I love kind of being in the outdoors, but I think people nowadays are so detached from that. And I really think people don't understand, even on campus, the incredible wildlife and nature we have around us. And I suppose for my project, I wanted to raise awareness of that, because a big thing I think is that if people don't understand what they're actually saving by being sustainable, yeah, we're saving ourselves, but people don't realise the nature and the habitats that we're saving too by being sustainable. So I wanted to raise awareness of that in the hope that if anyone watches the video, they'll be amazed, I suppose, by the wildlife we have right outside us, and hopefully, it'll make someone be more sustainable and, protect them. So I suppose I'll play the video. It probably makes the most sense. And the clips, I suppose, on the video are some of the little takes from the documentary as well.
Hiya, my name is James Organ. I'm a second year PE and geography student. And my interest in kind of environmental sustainability is I'm a big wildlife enthusiast. I like all things nature and wildlife. I do wildlife photography and videography, and I just all around nature guy. My project is a wildlife documentary on the wildlife of UL. So I tried to capture the amazing wildlife we have here on UL campus, because even though we're in a city, we have so much biodiversity, wildlife and nature all around us, and I was trying to really showcase that to the viewers. I suppose the problem my project addresses is a lack of awareness. I think in these days people have such a lack of awareness of the wildlife we have around us. People don't know even some of the common species of animals and insects and plants, and it's a real problem. If people don't know what they're actually saving, they're not going to want to save it. So I think by raising awareness of the wildlife we have around us, and people will hopefully establish more of a connection with the wildlife and the environment, and then therefore be more willing to try and save and protect it. from talking to the local people on campus, a lot of them would have said to me that they never knew that we had all this wildlife on campus, and that now they were going to keep a closer eye on the Riverwalk whenever they walked there. And some said that they would now walk even more because they were trying to spot these species. So that was really positive, and that showed to me that the project was already working, even though I hadn't even edited the documentary yet. I was still filming, but yet I was making an impact on the local people and helping them to value and see the nature locally in a better perspective. For me, I think sustainability is crucial because I work a lot with animals and wildlife, and I see firsthand the effects that they're having. I notice populations decreasing, animals not acting and behaving how they usually act, and all the wild habitats being destroyed. And by creating this project, I want to try and get a more personal connection back with the environment with people. I want people to see the amazing animals we have all around us, and hopefully that will inspire people to protect our environment and be more sustainable.
Can I finish up with a few? Yeah, so I suppose that's the documentary. I've been told there's a QR code on the door on the way out. If you scan it, it'll bring you to a link to the video. It's probably not the finished video. I'm spending more time at the moment kind of doing the sound design, so you'll notice there's kind of a lack of music or whatever on the video. So I'm kind of spending half my days these days trying to finish it out. But yeah, that's what I submitted for the project. If you scan the QR code, and the finished version will be out soon enough.
I might just add to that, I've had the pleasure of watching the entire documentary. It's absolutely epic. It's so beautifully put together. The storytelling and the narrative in the video is amazing. So he's playing himself down and he's still working on it. I think the signs of a true perfectionist. James, one question for you before you go, and that is, how on earth did you capture some of the species you have in the video? Because I've spent 28 years on this campus and some of them I've never seen.
A lot of patience and a lot of heartbreak, to be honest. Yeah, probably spent too much time out there. I could tell you every single stone on the path nearly. Yeah, I suppose it just takes a lot of patience, a lot of effort, and yeah, you get there eventually.
For me, probably the most remarkable part of this project is we're all surrounded by nature, but because we don't fundamentally care about it or see it or engage with it, that connection has been lost. So I'm really proud of James's work, and we're really looking forward to promoting it as actively as we can in campus and in the broader region. So thank you so much, James.
Thank you.
So, our next project, am I going on time all right, Elisa? Yeah, excellent. So our next project is a project by the wonderful Emilia Zolek. Emilia is a product design and technology student from Science and Engineering, and I'm going to let her take the stage now. Emilia, it's all yours.
Hello everyone, so my name is Emilia, so I'm actually in my final year of product design and technology. My project is the tidal turbine redesign with biomimicry, and the reason why I kind of wanted to pursue this project is I'm really passionate about nature, especially the sort of systems that it can offer us. So a lot, me as a designer, I really look to nature to inspire my designs. So this project kind of stemmed from something that isn't currently working in an environment, so like a tidal turbine, and it's all in the video as well, and then looking at how we can sort of use nature to actually make a design that fits better into the sort of dynamic environment that is the ocean. And yeah, that's kind of it.
So hi, my name is Emilia Zarlik. I'm a fourth-year product design student. So I like sustainability because it's really closely related to nature itself, and I have just such a passion and interest about nature, which is exactly what this project has been about. So my project was the tidal turbine redesign with biomimicry, and I learned a lot through this project, especially about looking at like design thinking and looking how nature can actually inspire like really good designs. So we only utilize about 0.002% of the ocean, and that's mainly because there's barriers like marine mammals especially. Also looking at sea shipment routes, coastal like recreational areas and what they're used for, along with overfishing as well, and the kind of strain that a project like a tidal turbine would put in a situation like that. And from that I kind of thought, like, what if we kind of used nature itself to actually inspire the design to make it more, I guess, to fit in better within the oceanic environment. So I actually think that there's a huge missed opportunity within this sector, especially because tidal energy is such a reliable source of energy, and Ireland has one of the best coastlines for it to actually happen. So I'd say while I did create a sort of design that can passively generate electricity, I think the most important message that I wanted to get across is that even though we can design these sort of really mechanical and rigorous structures and solutions, it doesn't mean that that is the best option, especially for an environment like the ocean, which is living and so dynamic. I really wanted to get the message across that design itself doesn't have to be so rigid, and we can actually get inspired by the things around us, like nature, like I did with the sharks, to kind of show that there is a better way that a design could be, essentially. So I think the biggest sort of advice that I could give was that whether you have like a really small idea and you're not sure whether to go for it or not, sometimes the like smallest and weirdest ideas are like exactly what the world needs, so go for it.
So just to kind of give you more of an overview, so I spent my 4 months sort of starting off with doing a lot of research on tidal energy and why it's sort of not being utilized as much as it should. And then I created this test rig that essentially proves that a design that sort of moves laterally side to side like a fish, which is the concept of biomimicry, where you replicate something from nature in a design, that it can actually passively generate electricity. Not a lot of electricity, but enough to show as a proof of concept that this is a feasible sort of way to go with, I guess, yeah.
So I suppose my question to you is around biomimicry. You've obviously said your inspiration has come from nature, but was there a direct connection to a shark or an experience that brought the project about?
I'd say the closest experience I've had to a fish is I used to own 3 fish. And they do, I just find it with nature, it just has a way of sort of even like moving and existing that is just so interesting, and I guess that we don't really even see in our lives day to day. So yeah.
Just one last comment. You may not know, but the product design and technology students do a big final year project in 4th year. And for anyone that's been along to their exhibitions, they're just amazing projects. Amelia did this on top of her project work. This was not her actual project. So just so you understand how committed these students actually are to doing their projects. So a big well done from us. Okay, I told you they were going to be amazing, and we're only 2 in, so we'll continue the journey. Project 3, I'm going to ask Ibnu and Numan to come to the stage, and both of these wonderful individuals are working in science and engineering, but more specifically in the Bernal Institute. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and we'll follow the same routine as before. So.
Hi everyone, my name is Numan Ghafoor. I am a 3rd year postgraduate student in School of Engineering. I am working on energy harvesting from the vibrational, from the ambient vibrations, and basically to unlock the battery-free solution for the IoT devices. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ibnu Taufan. I am a PhD student in School of Engineering. So the project is about sustainable agriculture IoT sensor powered by hybrid harvester under supervision of Prof. Valerianico and Prof. Jeff Pans. So the problem is the world population has been increasing, so the global food demand is also increasing. And in agriculture technology moves towards agriculture 4.0 to meet the demands. And in agriculture 4.0, IoT sensors have been deployed to monitor like temperature and humidity of the crops. But these sensors are generally powered by battery, which are not sustainable. So our project is, and in fact, in ambient energy is abundance, so such as vibration energy. We can find vibration energy from washing machine in our home, or when we are running, we also generate vibration energy. And on the farm, there are also a lot of vibration energy, like vibration on the air compressor, water pump, or farm vehicles. So the goal of this research is to to replace the battery using hybrid harvester to convert this ambient vibration energy into electricity for powering IoT sensor for agricultural applications. I think that's the introduction of our project.
Hello, my name is Ibnu Taufan. You can call me Taufan. I'm a third-year PhD student in School of Engineering. I am working on piezoelectric vibration energy harvester.
My name is Numan Ghafoor. I'm a third-year PhD student in School of Engineering. I'm working on electromagnetic vibration energy harvester. So our project is sustainable agriculture IoT sensor powered by the hybrid vibration energy harvester.
We want to combine our different PhD topics into a hybrid. So we combine piezo and electromagnetic for sustainable agriculture application. So the idea is to replace a battery because the current technology in agricultural applications are powered by batteries, but batteries, you know, it has toxic materials and it's also need regular replacement. So we want to replace the battery for sustainable agriculture application.
The main idea is because we are already working individually on our projects in the PhD, like I'm working on electromagnetic and Tufan is working on piezoelectric. So this project gave us the opportunity to combine both of our work to make a hybrid device to power the IoT devices, especially for the agriculture.
We also want to support the UN development goals. So it's like zero hunger or clean energy and like innovative industry. So we want to get the hybrid harvester to support this UN goal for sustainable agriculture especially. Accessibility means for us is we can simply turn off the light in our home to make our home more sustainable, and we can like dispose our batteries in our home to collections for recycling. So that's the simple step or small step can get a huge impact that make our home or our campus more sustainable. Because we only have one planet, so we need to conserve this planet to make it sustainable.
Yeah, so this opportunity not gave us just to combine our work, but also to make a hybrid device, which was not part of our PhD. And here, as you can see, it can generate enough power, and the power was enough to not only to power the IoT device which we used here, and we send the data like the pressure, temperature, humidity, and the light, not only with the Bluetooth but also with the Wi-Fi to store that information in the cloud so farmers can use later on. And the harvester is not limited to the agriculture point of view, but it can also be used in different fields like the industries. They have a lot of machines over there, health monitoring and many more. And one of the example is our living bridge. If you walk on that, you can see a lot of vibrations it can generate. So there are a lot of applications other than that. And we realized that the harvested power is enough not only to power the 4 sensors, but it can power the more sensors, and later we can use it onto the other fields as well.
So just a comment. I'm sure you've all grasped exactly what this technology has the capacity to do, but I'm a pig farmer's daughter and I spent a lot of my life in the back of a tractor, so I understand what those vibrations actually feel like. So the thought of them actually doing something positive is really exciting to me. But a question to both of you, that is, I spent a number of years working in the tech transfer office here at the University of Limerick with Paul Dillon and crew, and I'm just thinking around, I know you said you had papers and you had a potential patent. What are your thoughts on maybe commercializing the technology and taking it out into the marketplace?
Yeah, we are planning to publish these results, which is a joint paper with UL and Tyndall, which is one of our collaborator. And then after that, we are also planning to submit a patent because my supervisor has experience to do that.
Excellent. I think another round of applause. What an amazing project. And so we've 2 projects left to go. So the next project I would like to welcome up are 2 individuals, Carl Gilmartin and his colleague James Organ, who you've already met. Carl is in the Immersive Software Engineering program, and you've already met James, so I won't introduce him a second time. I'll let them do the talking and I'll get out of the way. Over to you guys.
Yeah, I'm James Organ. Me again. Well,
hello everyone, I'm Carl. I'm currently studying Immersive Software Engineering in UL, and today we're here to talk about our project BioTrail. Do you want to introduce it maybe?
Yeah, so this project started off as, I suppose we wanted to make kind of interactive nature signage on campus, kind of dealing with the whole lack of awareness kind of issue again. That didn't really suffice. We kind of came to a few issues. So we kind of adapted and we came up with BioTrail, which Carl will know more about.
Yeah, so our solution BioTrail we initially started with creating signage, and we realized that wasn't the most sustainable solution, and the project's about sustainability. So our solution BioTrail is out in the public. Visit www.biotrail-ie and you can learn about your local biodiversity in UL. As James said, it's all about awareness. I commuted down from Dublin this morning and I just smiled walking into the campus. The beauty of the nature when the sun's out. We want to make more awareness. If you see a bird today, maybe go onto the website and you can log it and you can take a picture of it, and then other people can see that information and make more of that awareness. So yeah, that was our project. Kind of focus on our 3 main pillars of sustainability: social, economic, and environmental. So yeah, that's our end solution. I think we can play the video, and yeah, the website's live, so please give it a look.
So my name is James Organ. I'm a second year PE and geography student.
I'm Carl. I'm a third year Bachelor's of Immersive Software Engineering. Our project is BioTrail. It tackles 3 different areas: awareness, environmental, and technology. We've created a technology solution which makes people, anyone, not just students, more aware of their local biodiversity, whether that be they're on a campus tour around UL or even in any other university in any other city. We created a solution that makes people more aware of their biodiversity and highlights the importance of maintaining habitats and increasing the biodiversity awareness.
So how we first came up with the idea for this project is that we were trying to figure out a way that we can make people more aware of the nature around us on campus. And yeah, we came up with this website. We thought it would be a useful tool to allow people to see what wildlife is around on campus, see what trails they can take, and to discover more about the wildlife on campus here.
So part of our project, we showcased our website to many different individuals. These are being experts in the software engineering industry, as well as wildlife enthusiasts like James. Our experts in the industry, especially the ones in the software industry, really engaged with the application. They thought it was really well designed and scalable and really user-friendly and considering many different aspects.
So Sean, with some nature and wildlife enthusiasts, they seemed positive about the idea. They liked the idea of being able to see what species are on campus, be able to record those species, and to be able to see the various trails on campus. Anything that increases awareness about biodiversity is good. So yeah, the responses were very positive.
I think sustainability is really important. I think people are engaged about sustainability but just don't know what's the best approach they could be more sustainable. I think from doing this project, I've personally found there's multiple ways to be sustainable. For me personally, I have a software background, and there's also multiple ways. For example, LLMs are really topical at the moment, but also not using these when you don't need to, that's sustainable. So finding these small little things that you can be more sustainable in your life can be really helpful.
That's really it. It's live. Your feedback is really valued. We also have an app that's kind of like 60% developed, so might hit the App Store soon, might not. But I just want to tell everyone that you can be more sustainable in your approaches. The small things do count. And always think of the 3 pillars: economic, social, and environmental, and you can be more sustainable. So yeah, thanks.
Question for the guys. You haven't actually seen the website or the amazing work that they've actually done. It's a shame. We should have probably showcased it a little bit more today. But it gives us all the opportunity on campus to be active in what we see, in the conversations we have, and in drawing more attention to the wildlife we have on campus. And I love the connection between the documentary being a way of raising people's awareness, and then the tool being a way for people to actually actively engage in terms of sightings, and also for us as a university to gather more data and hopefully launch some citizen science type projects which invite lots of participation and lots of people to get involved. Truly great job. What was it like for an immersive software expert to work alongside a nature enthusiast? Any insights?
It was great. Lots of learning for me personally about the wildlife in UL. And I guess it's kind of the approach of what you learn in college, you can really apply it, and you can create solutions, tackle the biggest problems in the world.
Excellent. So watch out in your app stores. It's work in progress. Thank you both.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, last but not least, we move to the last project of our 5 projects. This is a really exciting project between 3 students in the Chemie Business School and also in psychology. So I will let them introduce themselves, but their names are Keelan, Emer, and Finn. So you can take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Finn Lannan. I'm a PhD student in psychology.
Hi everyone, my name is Emer. I'm a PhD student in the Accounting and Finance department in the Chemie Business School.
Yeah, and I'm Keelan McMahon. I'm also in the Accounting and Finance department doing a PhD. So our project was on sustainable finance, which aren't usually 2 words that go together, I'm sure you'll be aware. And so what's kind of ended up happening is that finance has kind of co-opted the language of sustainability while describing things that sort of aren't sustainable. And what our project was aiming to do was to see the effect that this discourse is having in the general public, how it was affecting their perceptions of the risks of climate change, for example, and was it getting in the way of more substantive, effective solutions like government regulations and carbon taxes. So we did that through online surveys, and we'll play the video now.
My name is Finn Lannan. I'm a final year PhD student in the psychology department here in UL.
Yeah, I'm Keelan McMahon from the Accounting and Finance department in the Chemie Business School here.
My name is Emer Owens. I'm a final year PhD student here in the Accounting and Finance department in the Chemie Business School.
The main problem our research is looking to address is this idea of sustainable finance media. So you have big companies making big claims in the media about what they're doing to address climate change, for example. And we're seeing how impactful this is in the general public. You know, does this lead the general public to a false sense of optimism that the markets will address climate change on their own? And does it get in the way of more effective systemic change? That's kind of the main idea of our research.
One of the big benefits of the project, I think, is that it's interdisciplinary. So we come from different backgrounds, different areas of finance, risk, psychology. And I think the merging of those is something that really led to a lot of success in the project. Made it really interesting to work together, made it really nice to get to different perspectives.
Yeah, so Keelan initially came up with the idea of looking at financial materiality and kind of ESG and disclosures in the media, and through kind of speaking about this issue and kind of potential avenues to take into research, the risk perception piece also came into it, which would be my background as to how do people or society perceive certain risks, specifically ESG risks, and then in what method can we investigate this issue. We looked to Finn then to help us along with that. We all were quite friendly beforehand, which was really nice then to get the opportunity to work together.
Sustainability, it's important, people are talking about it, but what's key to understand is that when people are talking about sustainability, they mean different things. So some people, like people in finance, might think about sustainability just in terms of the sustainability of their organizations. And so I think it's key to sort of welcome different perspectives in talking about sustainability, but just be clear and make sure people understand what people mean when other people talk about sustainability.
Yeah, and then just briefly, the findings, they were somewhat positive. People were generally aware of what effective climate change solutions were, and the sustainable finance media wasn't, on average, getting in the way of support for government regulations. But there was still a significant proportion of people that were unable to sort of effectively recognise and be sceptical of sort of voluntary corporate-led climate initiatives. And the last, just very interesting result was that knowledge of effective climate change solutions seemed to be independent of knowledge of its causes and effects. So that seems like a very correctable thing that our research has found. Yeah, thanks.
Excellent. I think as someone working in the sustainability space, we do have to be very aware of the discourses and narratives that we put out there, because it is very easy for people to think that things are in hand when they're not. So I think being more honest and being more open in the way we talk about sustainability is really, really important. And I found your study absolutely fascinating. And I'm also so delighted that three of you from three different perspectives came together to work together, because that is a challenge. Can you tell me a little bit about your next steps, where this work goes now, and any interesting insight that you, as researchers, would like to delve into?
Yeah, so I suppose we're three early career academics, you could say. So we are bringing this paper. It's now a kind of fully fledged paper, which is great, and we've submitted it to 2 conferences. Hopefully we'll be heading to Italy and France in the coming months to kind of share research and kind of get feedback from other academic experts, and kind of build on our paper, build on our findings, and then publish our paper.
So if you were to give some words of wisdom to large corporates around the way they talk about sustainability, what would they be?
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, I think the key thing to recognise is that businesses have their own agendas, and you shouldn't leave it up to them to sort of be benevolent and approach sustainability. It has to come from more systemic government regulations. That would be the advice.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks.
I think I've done my job excellently. It looks like we're ahead of time, which is quite surprising. The next task that I was given, and it's a really nice one, is to thank our sponsors and all of those. This program didn't happen by itself. There are a lot of hidden heroes who I'd like to just thank right now. First of all, we put out a call to our, I would call them partners on campus, so to the Kirby Group, who do all of the electrical work on campus, and so they're one of our sub-suppliers and partners at the university, who you probably all know, because you know the Kirby people on campus. And also to Bitvest Noonan, or Noonan's as we probably would have known them. Noonan's also a wonderful partner at the University of Limerick, and they provide services right across campus, everything from security to cleaning to Again, they're hidden heroes on campus that oftentimes we don't stop and pause and think about. But we put out a call because we wanted funds to help make these amazing projects happen. And we partnered with Kirby, the Kirby Group, and with Bitvest Noonan as partners on campus to bring these projects to life. So I'm super, super grateful to both organisations. And I know Jason is here with us, and I'm going to give him an opportunity just to talk a little bit about the experience. And I think Martina from Bitvest Noonan isn't here today. Oh, she is? Oh, she is. I actually see her now. In fact, I've already seen you. Sorry, Martina. And Martina is here from Bitvest Noonan. We had the pleasure of working together. We spent a full day in a very hot room in the Chemie Business School with all the students and the evaluation panels trying to make a decision, which was insanely difficult. But I'd like to invite both Martina and Jason just to say a few words on their experience and maybe on the importance of sustainability. And I'm going to get to the doctoral school and the others in a second, Vicky, so don't worry. So Martina and Jason, would you like to come up? Maybe you could give us a little bit of context as well about sustainability in your organisations. Super.
Yeah, hi everyone, Jason Doherty. So I joined Kirby Group Engineering last summer as their head of sustainability. So I suppose previous to that, my background was I had 10 years working with the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland. And I'm an engineer. So as you can see, this challenge in general challenged my own biases on I love problem solving, I love solutions. So it's a pleasure to be involved, obviously, in this project. It was eye-opening, probably, to see the variety and the videos today. We didn't have those videos at the time of judging them. They're a brilliant way of summarising the effort that has gone in, and probably don't do justice what the guys have done over the last number of months. For me, I suppose sustainability has always been probably about efficiency, being efficient with my time. Probably came from my dad shouting at me on the farm in West Mayo when I'm younger I took 3 steps to do something when I could have done it in 1, I knew about it, and that kind of stuck with me. So again, I kind of, that stood to me, I suppose, and it kind of a thing that came out of followed me in my career in terms of, even any project I work on, anything, whether it's in the construction sector or just supporting businesses like UL in my days with SCAI or large industry to reduce their carbon emissions or improve their energy efficiency. Joining Kirby, I suppose, construction sector, we're a large mechanical electrical contractor. We're on site here doing, let's say, electrical maintenance works and managing their BMS, but a lot of our work is across Europe and working on data centres and substations on wind farms in Scotland and in Ireland. So we've grown massively, and sustainability is the buzzword in the organisation. Everyone's looking at me now in the company to say, what does this mean? What are we doing? So I'm very much, obviously, I'm 8-9 months in, and it's a bit like today and the biodiversity piece, kind of that knowledge and awareness and the ESG discourse, kind of that raising awareness. So knowledge is power. That's kind of initial focus for me, is making everyone aware, what does this actually mean? Because I go into the boardroom and sustainability to one person means putting the plastic in the right box, in the right bin. And to someone else, it might mean something, let's say in the governance section, whether it's risk management, or to someone else, it might mean carbon emissions. And to me, genuinely, I came into it, my background is in the environmental, and it was carbon emissions and it was energy. So this, I suppose, my wife is a big enthusiast in biodiversity, and she has the bird feeder out the back, and her dad has bees, and they've honey and all that. That was an area, genuinely, I suppose, I had probably ignored in the past, and this probably just being involved with this challenge opened up my mind to even just genuinely thinking of my own job. And if I was given a budget to hire someone in the morning for my team, I'd probably go, right, let's look up some engineers, and that what isn't necessarily the right thing, because there's people from different disciplines across various different courses in the likes of UL that can offer different skills to different roles. So again, that's it. A pleasure to be involved with the project. I hope everyone obviously appreciates the work that went into it, and hopefully we look forward to building that in the future.
Good morning, everyone. It's been many years since I've been in a setting like this, so it's all feeling very strange this morning. So firstly, to introduce myself as Martina Donoghue, I am the Sustainability and Safety Director with Bidvest Noonan. So similar to Jason, I'm relatively new into my role. So I started in August last year, and my brief includes the environmental sustainability brief. So Bidvest Noonan, for those that aren't familiar, and thank you, Andrea, for the introduction, we're a facilities management services company. We have 27,000 colleagues across UK and Ireland. We work with almost 5,000 different businesses or customers to us across UK and Ireland. So we do have quite a substantial touch point across various businesses, and hence we have a responsibility around sustainability. Andrea spoke at the start around the 3 key principles for the challenge, and one of which was purpose. And at Bidvest Noonan, we are a purpose-driven organisation. So our purpose statement is to create safer and healthier communities today for tomorrow. Our vision as an organisation is built around 3 tenets. So exceptional people, obviously with 27,000 of us across UK and Ireland, disruptive innovation and sustainable solutions. So we are one of those organisations that, are serious around this. For Bidvest Noonan, it's an absolute honour and a very easy decision for us to come on board with the challenge. So like many organisations and fellow professionals, day in, day out, my time is spent on planning decarbonisation pathways, setting medium, long-term net zero targets on how we get there. And with the best decarbonisation pathways, including those from the Science Based Targets Initiative, in reality, there are challenges. So if we look into the next 5 years, 10 years, quite simply, some of the technologies that we need to progress and meet those targets aren't there. And that's where I see the role that the Sustainability Challenge plays. So if we look at the 2 projects around technology, that research is incredibly important in helping us within industry for those technologies to be researched, to identify what works, what doesn't, what can be scaled, what can't be scaled. And that helps us within industry along our decarbonisation pathways. As regulation in the whole area of sustainability increases, so we're looking at CSRD, notwithstanding the omnibus and the slight delay, if we look at TCFD, the regulation is becoming increasingly important, and quite rightly so. So sustainable finance becomes really important for an organisation. So hence the project looking at sustainable finance, discourses, perceptions around sustainability is also important for industry. So a key aspect for us within industry in getting to net zero is the whole area of climate transition planning. And being engaged in climate transition planning, particularly across the past number of months, I would concur with some of the statements this morning that nature, biodiversity, understanding the whole benefits of biodiversity net gain is a really untapped and not particularly well understood or focused area when it comes to sustainability. So really great to see 2 projects focusing on nature and wildlife, because that really aids that discourse. I'd really like to commend all of the finalists. Firstly, getting through the shortlist, making it to the final is a significant achievement. And something Rebecca said in her excellent opening really resonated with me, And that was for each of us to consider, what bricks have we laid to create a sustainable future? So I think all the finalists can answer that without hesitation. The research, the project, the work you've done, the commitment, you can certainly take a bow in terms of the bricks that you've laid to create a sustainable future. And finally, I would like to commend Andrea, the Centre, for running this challenge. And again, because I see this as an important endeavour in terms of helping industry achieve the targets. I did say finally, but finally. Again, to all the finalists, keep the work going. I'd encourage you to keep going with it. And I've no doubt looking to the future as we move towards climate neutrality, notwithstanding the challenges to get there. You know, I walked out of the room at the start of the month, spending time with the panel, the finalists, and really taking heart that the future is very positive. And with the passion and the commitment we've seen from the finalists, I have no doubt that we will get there. So thank you very much.
Okay, we're doing exceedingly well on time. So I haven't forgotten the doctoral school. Vicky was waving like mad down the back, reminding me, but they're not forgotten. Just to say a heartfelt thanks, and I obviously invite Ger or Anne to come up and say a few words if they would like to, but we couldn't have done any of this without the support of the doctoral school. They're our colleagues, and I think the inroads we're starting to make in terms of the link between sustainability and research, and in particular at doctoral level, but also through the sustainability challenge with every level of student across the organisation, is starting to show. And so, Ger, Anne, I'll leave it to you. I think, Ger, are you going to say a couple of words?
No, you can.
Ger.
Yeah, thanks, Andrea. Great. Thanks, everyone. It's really great to be here because back in, I think it was back at the start of the academic year, I was asked to be a panelist for the Sustainability Challenge and to assess the applications that were going to come in, and a call went out. I think at the time we expected to receive, I think we were looking at, we thought we might get into double digits, hoping we could get, 10 applications in. We got 19 at the time, I remember, and what was really striking is that as, I began to assess them, I remember looking at the very first one thinking, well, okay, that's definitely going to make, we were asked to shortlist 5, and I remember looking at the first one thinking, normally you get some idea, soon enough, as soon as you start to assess these things, and I thought, okay, the first one, that's definitely going to be in the top 5, there's no question. And then I read the second one, and oh, wait, no, that's definitely in the top 5. But by the time I got to the first 5, I thought, these are all going to be in the top 5. The others can't be. What was amazing was the quality of each project, each proposal. I was absolutely blown away and stunned with the kind of research and ideas and originality and creativity and innovative thinking that's going on campus. And I think it's something in UL we should really, really be proud of. So we eventually, I sent in my scores for those 19 projects, and then the 5 were shortlisted. We had an event in December, a presentation down down the Schumann about for those down the Chemie Business School for those candidates who were shortlisted. But even then, the projects that had evolved up to those points, the proposals, evolved into something even really, really glorious. And as was Jason was saying earlier, that when it came to the actual decision on the day, and Andrea was saying it as well, it was such a tough choice. It was such, I couldn't believe just what we saw on the day, the presentations by Emer, by Tofan, by Newman, by Emilia, by Finn, by Keelan, James and Carl, just blew us all away, and we spent a lot of time there. We were anxious to get out of there, I remember, because it was such a hot day, really stifling. But even at that, we couldn't leave the room until we had made a decision, and it took us a long time. We were there for the full day, I remember, and it was really, really a privilege to be involved in a process like that. But also, I think for us as a doctoral college to be involved in something like that was really essential, also something we were really, really keen to do. And Anne MacPhail, when she came in to lead the doctoral college back when we were established in 2023, she put sustainability at the heart and at the centre of everything that we do, and sought immediately, to integrate sustainability into research and education, into enhancing, interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary research, just into the whole ideas of, sustainable operations and governance with regard to the institution, how the institution should adapt and integrate sustainable practices into things like campus management and policies and community engagement, and also just in terms of external leadership and collaboration with regard to the kind of external links that we have made with other institutions around the world. And I think what we seek to do as a doctoral college is to, prepare and advance sustainable practices, sustainable development practices, which will prepare graduates, to be agents of positive change around the world. And we certainly saw that with the candidates we have today. I think, we can't applaud them enough. They really, really are exceptional. The projects were just, stunning. We were all in awe, I think, by the time we came to the end of the judging process. And we just thought, well, the future is in exceptionally good hands here in UL if this is the calibre of student that we are producing with regard to awareness and practice when it comes to sustainability and in implementing positive change around the world. So thank you all for just an exceptional project, and thanks Andrea and all the team and everybody else who was involved, because it was a real pleasure and a privilege to be involved in this from the very start. So thank you. Yeah.
Starting to feel a little bit like the Oscars here, and I haven't finished with the thank yous, but we have a little bit of time, so bear with me. There are another group of really important, well, there's two more groups. I don't know if I'll invite everybody up to speak, but I just really want to thank them. So I really want to thank the mentors from UL, and I'm actually going to give you their names, because these again are unsung heroes. They're individuals who've given of their time freely to support the students, to encourage the students, to challenge the students, and they are often unknown to our university, so I wanted to just call them out. So Liz Gabbett, who I see down the back there. Thank you, Liz, and a round of applause for Liz, I think. Jeff Punch, who I see over this direction. Valerissa? Oh, Valeria. Sorry, if I'd actually written my writing in a way that I could read it, it would have been helpful. Nico, yes? I can't see it from where I'm standing, and I'm not allowed to move away from the microphone, so... Oh, it's actually... Oh, my God. I'm just going to call this old age and glasses, but anyway. So a round of applause for Valeria, please. She's up here up the front. Chris Fogarty. Is Chris here? Well, he deserves a round of applause anyway. Sarah Guerin. Is Sarah here? No. And Henry Silk. And I believe we also had 2 budget advisors, a really important role because there was money expended on the project. So I'd like to thank Emma Foley and Clodagh Klein from the School of Engineering. And there's another really important group, and that's my own team. I have to say, without the hard work and support of our amazing, I said we're a centre with a big name, but we're a small team. And so I just want to thank my team. That's Una and Vicky and Liana, and most especially Eliza, who has inspired all of us, and I know worked with all of the students continuously. So heartfelt thanks to all of you. So this is totally unscripted, and they're going to kill me. But I have a little poem in my notebook that I can't but read, and there's a little bit of time left. So if we just take this as a short reflection before we move on to the awards. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. So it's written by a wonderful young author called Dara McAnulty. I don't know if any of you have come across him. He's in his teens. He's an environmentalist. He's a proud bearer of the title. He has autism, and he's very proud of it. He sees it as one of his superpowers. And he started to write the most amazing pieces of literature. And I have a little excerpt from one of his pieces that I'd like to share with you. If I can get my glasses on. So, without nature, there is no us. The threads that gently hold us to our wild world are becoming so thin they barely catch the early morning light. The weight of us is becoming so great that the natural world is cracking under the pressure. There is no truly wild place anymore, but the hinges that can open the door to a much wilder landscape are there. They live deep down in each of us, and every one of us. Before life became so fast, they swung open with such joy, they can again. I have never experienced nature intact. When I climb mountains, the bleating of sheep drowns out the fragile song of the skylark. The haunting creak of the alone raven, no wild flowers can thrive, and most of the trees are conifers. Their only benefit to capture carbon, which is unleashed when they are felled. I walk on blackened heather, burnt not for regeneration, but for clearance and money. Things need to change. Do we want to live in a wasteland bereft of birds, trees, insects, all that gives us life? Do we want concrete rivers, empty of salmon trout and pearl mussels? Do we want to bathe in oceans filled with plastic and waste? In the midst of helplessness, we must stand firmly upon the knife edge of hope to see that the only future that can support us is a wild future. For nature is not separate. We are connected to every living thing. Without nature, there is no us. Okay, thank you for allowing me. So we're going to move on to what most people have come for, and that is the announcement of who the winners are. Just two comments before we do that. First of all, it was an insanely difficult task, and I was lucky enough to be the chair, so I didn't actually have to decide. But I know the panel struggled greatly. And as testament, all of the 5 projects scored very, very highly. So first of all, a round of applause for all 5 projects. And then second of all, a reflection for us. We had nearly 20 applications, and all of the 20 applications the projects that didn't get selected were excellent. And so the challenge for us next year is to broaden the programme, is to enable more and more students to engage in projects like this, because if this is what these 5 groups can do, imagine what 10 or 15 groups of students across the college could achieve. So that's a challenge for us for next year. Okay, I'm going to ask Rebecca to come back up and help me. This hasn't been scripted, so I have no idea how it's going to unfold. Will we start with second place? Okay, so... Okay, is there a drum roll anywhere? Yeah. So I would like to announce the second place winners, and I'm going to ask Rebecca to hand over their prize. So I'd like to invite Ibnu and Newman to the stage. Okay, another drum roll, Vicky, please, on the back there. And I'd like to announce the winner, the overall winner, is James Organ for his nature documentary. And because we want to mark everybody's participation, and because honestly, each and every one of the projects could have received a prize if we'd had one, because they were all deserving winners. I know the team have a series of small tokens of appreciation and a certificate for each of the projects. So can I ask you just to come this way here, all of you, and we will hand them over. So first of all, if we can show our appreciation for Keelan, Finn, and Emer, please. Do you want to go stand with them as well? Go on, Rebecca. And Amelia? And Carl and James. Do you want to give certificates to the other prize winners as well? Yeah. And James, I'm not sure if you get a second certificate. No, you don't. That's okay. Sorry about that. But obviously, Ibnu and Noom, please. Thank you. We'll do it afterwards. So, Rebecca, have you anything else you'd like to say before we? So,
congratulations, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you. So without further ado, I think we can call today's proceedings to a close. Thank you very much for being here in person. It means a lot to us and to our students. Today is about celebrating their work. And so I'm not going to say any more other than thank you very much, and hold sustainability in your hearts as you continue and voyage in your worlds. Thank you.